next on AM 1480 WLEA, the Newsmaker Show. Here's Brian O'Neill.
Monday, September the 24th. Very glad to have caught up with Larry Sharpe, a libertarian for candidate for governor. We caught up with him late last week. Larry Sharpe, thank you for joining us once again. This is, I believe, the second time we've had you on the show.
I'll come on every time you're happy, my friend. I love being out here.
Larry Sharpe, you stopped off at Club 57 there on Friday.
Absolutely.
And tell us where else you were on Friday.
Look, I have been all over this state. A lot of it right now I've been more in the western New York, southern tier area, but I've been to the North Country also, central New York. Wherever we have to go, we go. I've been at Arkport. I'm going to be at Bath. I mean, you name it, I'm there. I want to make sure that people understand a secret. And this is a secret that you may not know, Brian, okay? And be very clear. New York State is more than New York City. Yes, it's true. I know you're shocked, but it is true. Too many politicians haven't figured that out. I'm the guy who fell in love with New York State again in 2012. When I was a kid, I loved New York State. I used to actually travel around with my parents in a station wagon. And went to Niagara Falls, and we go up to the mountains, and we go all over the place, and we would do that kind of thing. And then for many years, I hardly ever came upstate, for many years as an adult. And then all of a sudden, 2012, when Gary Johnson was running, I started to come back into the state, and I fell back in love with it again. And it really allowed me to understand the beauty of this state and kind of re-engage.
Now, you do a lot of consultant work for some businesses, but also you have a little education background in that you've taught at some big schools there. Tell us about that.
Absolutely, yes. As my day job, when I used to actually work, I've had a business for about 14 years now. I'm a consultant, a trainer, an executive coach, and I've had large clients like Estee Lauder and Models, and also small clients like small law firms and IT firms. I also teach. I've taught, and I still teach now at Baruch and John Jay College, and I've taught in the past as a guest instructor to graduate level of Yale and Columbia.
Impressive.
I'm trying to be impressive. I'm trying to impress you, Brian, so you bring me back again.
Larry Sharpe, if you could tell us the libertarian message for running for governor in New York State.
Look, what's going to help and what everybody actually wants. The Libertarian Party says you should be as conservative or as liberal as you want to be, as long as you don't force others to do what you want them to do. Instead, let's let counties be counties and regions be regions. One city should not be running this entire state. We have an amazing, diverse state to where you can find mountains that are as awesome as, Colorado. Farmland is amazing as the Midwest. Rivers and lakes and falls and the largest city in the entire country. And that means we have a diverse state, and we have diverse people, and we should respect that. I don't want one city running the entire state. Let's have more localization. Let's have more localized control, and that includes taxes, that includes rules and regulations, that includes everything.
Governor Andrew Cuomo visits New York City a lot. No big surprise there. He's from there. Mm-hmm. A lot of his base is there. Did you have any thoughts on the results of the primary where Governor Andrew Cuomo defeated Cynthia Nixon? I thought New York City, being as liberal as it is, that Cynthia Nixon would have done better there. Did you have any thoughts?
Yes, here's my thoughts. If you are a Nixon supporter, I am here for you. That is my thoughts right then and there. If you're a Nixon supporter, I'm here for you. Again, as a libertarian, I'm able to say if you want to let Queens and Manhattan be Queens and Manhattan, they should be able to do so. Be who you want to be. Just don't force your way on others. If you want to smoke marijuana, if you want to have your Second Amendment rights, if you want to take your kids to a private school or a homeschool, if you want to do what's right for your family, please do so. Now, if you're a Nixon supporter, you're hoping to have some criminal justice reform. You're hoping to have some marijuana reform. You're not going to get that with Cuomo. If you're a Republican, you're hoping to get smaller government, lower taxes. You're hoping to get Second Amendment support. You're not going to get that with Cuomo. In fact, you're not going to get that with Republican either. You're only going to get that with me. That's it. If you're just a New Yorker, you want education reform. You want small business support. You want economic reform. You're not going to get that with either of the two big parties. You're only going to get that with me.
Now, you did you during the campaign? Have you met with Cynthia Nixon, Governor Cuomo, Mark Molinaro?
Who? No, I don't meet with any of those guys. They don't want to talk to me. They're afraid of me because here's the difference. When you speak to them, what you'll get is pandering and platitudes. When you speak to me, you get an actual idea, an actual plan. Why don't you and I ask me a question? I'll give you an actual plan, and I'll tell you what the other people will tell you. How about education? That's universal.
All right, let's start out with education.
If you are a Democrat right now and you're listening for the Democrats, here's what you will hear from Andrew Cuomo. We hate Trump and guns are bad. And that's your entire campaign if you're Andrew Cuomo. Nothing about changing education, nothing about shifting anything. It's just those two things. The Republican plan says, Cuomo's corrupt. That's the entire platform. There's nothing else. But I'm telling you, we need to revamp education from the ground up. We need to end, and I mean end, all standardized testing until high school. Standardized testing is nothing but bad. It makes 10, 11, 12-year-old kids feel stupid if they can't test well, makes them second-class students at 10, 11, 12 years old. What a horrible idea that is. It's an unfair way of grading teachers. Does that make you a good teacher because your kids get good on standardized testing? It's an unfair way of rewarding schools and paying them, and there's no indication of success whatsoever. But if we do that, two things happen. Number one, we will have to lose Common Core. So what? Totally fine with that. Here's the reality. I'm not against Common Core. I'm against the mandate that forces a teacher to use Common Core. I'm one of the rare people who actually says, let teachers teach. And I actually don't just add administrators. I actually want them to teach. That's the issue. There's a small percentage of kids who will actually learn better on Common Core. If you're a teacher and you happen to have that kid in your class, guess what? Use Common Core for that kid. I don't care how the kid learns 2 plus 2 is 4. Just learn 2 plus 2 is 4. I trust the teacher more than the administrator. Not just that. We'll lose a bunch of federal funding. Also good. We'll lose about $4 billion in federal funding. The total budget is about $60 billion. About $4 billion comes from the federal government. We'll lose that. I'm okay with that loss. How? I'll explain how in a moment. What will happen immediately is all those administrators that are, because of federal guidelines, because of federal strings, will go away. Teacher in New York makes about $80,000, give or take. The average administrator makes over 6 figures. You start getting rid of a couple of those administrators, all of a sudden now you can either give teachers raises or hire more teachers or do things that you think are appropriate in your school district. I will give you that freedom to make those choices. Does that mean you want to save your money? Does that mean you want to, get more equipment? You'll choose. As long as you are transparent, I'm fine. If you want to give teachers raises, that's fine. A new Spanish teacher, no worries. But I'm still not done. I want to make sure that our school system right now, that is K through 12, goes away and goes to K through 10. Yes, I want to dump the last 2 years of high school. You should get your high school diploma at 10th grade. Why? The last 2 years of high school for too many of our kids right now is study hall, gym, video games, and maybe smoking weed. Nothing but bad. How do I know that? Because when they go to college, it's 13th grade. The first year of college is a reboot because our kids aren't ready for college. You think I'm making that up? Ask any kid, ask any teacher, ask any college student, ask the colleges. It's true. And not just that, it takes 6 years to graduate college now, and it should take 4. Bad, bad, and bad. And now you got a 24-year-old kid who's never had a job, and we wonder why he has no work ethic. Terrible idea. Why aren't these kids going to places like BOCES, you might say? And BOCES is amazing. I think that's a great idea. Look at the opposite, right? You got a kid who goes to college, who doesn't really want to go to college. He's 24 years old. He's got $100,000 in debt, and he works at Starbucks because there's no job for him. Bad. The kid who went to BOCES, that kid didn't want to go to BOCES because his parents said that's for the dumb kids, or the guidance counselor said that's for the bad kids. Shame on us for thinking that. BOCES and the trades are awesome, and we should be promoting them. We need them in this state. The average tradesman in this state is 50. That's horrible. Not that I don't want 50-year-old tradesmen. Of course I do. But not as an average. The average should be 30, 35. I want that 50-year-old tradesman training the youngsters, managing them. Not happening right now. It's why we have such a need for foreign labor. That will go away if we focus on trades. We haven't. So that kid goes. He's 24 years old. He's making $70K at least, and he has no debt. That's not the dumb kid. That's the smart kid. What were we thinking? So instead now, here's my new plan. At 10th grade, you have 5 choices. From those 5 choices, number 1, if you think college is right for you, and for some people college is exactly right, I don't have a problem with college. If it is 2-year prep school to prepare you for actual college. When you show up, you are ready to rock and roll. You take advantage of incubators, advantage of internships.
Now, would you, if I could stop you there, would you go into prep school in your high school years or start prep school at 18 for New York State?
Start prep school at those last 2 years. 11th and 12th grade would be prep school.
Right.
So that when you get into college at 18, it's not 13th grade. Maybe you can even finish in 3 years. Maybe you can actually take up some time and have a job while you're in college. So when you get out, not only do you have a college degree, but you also have some experience and some real value. You can get a job. And I love that. But say you don't think college is for you. No worries. Go to trade school instead. 2-year trade school. All of a sudden you realize within 2 years you either have an actual license or you're an apprentice or whatever the case may be, become a mason, become a carpenter, whatever's the right answer. Now you get out at 18, you can start working. But let's say you're neither of those two things. Because you know what you are? You're a brilliant, book-smart kid who can take tests like no other. You're that geek kid that's on TV. Great. Take your SATs, get an associate's degree at 16. 16, 17, 18, go right away, associate's degree. You're going to be a scientist anyway. Going to be a doctor anyway. Awesome. Go right ahead and go do that.
Talking with libertarian Larry Sharpe here on the Newsmaker show on this Monday, the 24th. Larry Sharpe, we're talking education here in this part of the show.
Yep.
Want to ask you your thoughts on the State Education Commissioner, Mary Ellen Wlea, and also, if you're elected governor, it's not as if the governor appoints the entire Board of Regents, and it's not as if the governor controls the whole SUNY board or the whole, the education
They're
commissioner
all
appointees.
going away. Their power is going away. Let me be very clear on something. As I mentioned in the last time we just chatted, the system I talked about, how do you pay for that system I talked about, the last 2 years of school? You do it by giving them a grant like I would for the GI Bill. It's called the ED Bill, Education Bill. They get $20,000 and 5 to 7 years to use it. What does that do? It means all of a sudden you'll see prep schools and you'll see other schools popping up costing exactly $20,000 per year. I mean, $20,000 for both years, which means $10,000 per year. We right now spend $22,000 per year per kid. We will save $12,000 per kid at 400,000 kids. There's your $4 billion in the federal government. I just made it up. You do not lose one dime with my plan. You get better service, happier kids. What will stop that? What you just said, the Board of Regents. The Board of Regents will stop all of my plans. Cold. They would never let it happen. What does that mean? The Board of Regents has to lose all the teeth, and I will make sure it loses its teeth. The Board of Regents is hurting this state, not helping. It is making things worse. Let me give you a list of all the time centralized control has worked. Finished. Doesn't work. Not the answer. Wrong answer. Somehow we've been able to train our kids and teach our kids to be successful in life with localized control. We can do it again. We did it when I was a kid. I'm 50. If you're in my age range, you were in school when there was no Department of Education or didn't really have any power. You had some time. Somehow you learned how to read and write, become successful. You can do it. We don't require it.
Talking today with Libertarian candidate for governor, Larry Sharpe. We're going to take a quick break, check the forecast with Rob. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Kevin Harlan from Westwood One with a preview of Monday Night Football. Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner and I will be in Tampa as the Buccaneers take on Ben Roethlisberger and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Led by quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick, the Buccaneers are 2-0 with one of the league's most prolific offenses. Now they take on a Steeler team desperate for a win. Join us and hear the NFL all season long from Westwood One.
Tonight at 7:30 on AM 1480 WLEA.
Checking in now with meteorologist Rob Carolyn. Rob, Friday night, 7:30 p.m. We're just about to start the game, and sportscaster Pat McHale says everybody's left the field, and then Hornell police showed up and put everybody inside Hornell High School, inside one of the gyms there. Well, what happened was two things. One, lightning was striking numerous times, which would be enough to call the game up. But also, the officials told our sportscaster Pat McHale that there were reports of a tornado touching down in Alfred. Now, I got a call this morning from a listener who said he was talking to a bunch of college students in Alfred, and they said they saw something touch down on Jericho Hill area. What do we know this morning, Rob?
Well, Brian, from what I can see from the Storm Prediction Center out of Norman, Oklahoma, I do not have a confirmation of a tornado touching down anywhere in central or western New York. on Friday or Saturday. I just took a look at the data. Only place that a confirmed tornado touchdown was in Lake County near Willoughby, Ohio, and that was on the lake shore near Cleveland during Friday evening. We had numerous reports of wind damage over central and western New York, but I have no confirmation of a tornado touching down there. Brian, we've got a storm system headed our way. It results in sunshine through some clouds this morning, but it will cloud up as the day goes on. We may see some late-day showers, 65 to 70. Sunrise this morning, 7:01. Sunset tonight at 7:03. Rain develops tonight. It'll be a steady, heavy rain overnight, 55 to 60. Rain tapers off to showers tomorrow. We could see a passing thunderstorm, 70 to 75. Some more showers and thunderstorms Wednesday, 70 to 75. Brian, it looks like this storm could produce 1 to 2 inches of rain.
And we're back with Libertarian candidate for governor Larry Sharpe here on Newsmaker Show. Larry Sharpe, and his name, by the way, for those who want to check out his website, Larry, that's an easy one.
LarrySharpe.com or Facebook page Larry Sharpe for New York. Remember, it's Larry Sharpe with an E.
That's what I was going to say.
And the E stands for electable.
Larry Sharpe, as far as industry goes in New York State, around here, the manufacturing and industrial world is pretty happening, pretty exciting place. You've got an Alstom factory here and numerous similar businesses.
I am very worried about the economic safety and health of this state. And the reason is what we've been doing is relying on one big plant or one big thing to support an entire area. And when that one thing goes down, ghost town. Our other answer has been bribe big business to show up. Here's big business, show up to this small town or of the city. We'll bribe you with tens of millions of dollars. And then when you show up, you crush all the small business around you because you have huge advantages. You're a big business, and now you've got bribes. Any value we're going to give to our community goes away because we've given you bribes that gets rid of it. And now we use government money to try to build these things up, and it's always inefficient and terrible and heavy taxes. And then 5 years later, the bribes go away. You leave, ghost town. Rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. If you want to have a resilient economy, the goal will be to focus on small businesses. Focus on supporting them over everything. And there are many ways of doing that. One of the first ways is, there's a law in Wyoming right now that if you are a small farmer and you agree to not sell outside of the borders of Wyoming, you're immune from all federal regulatory bodies. Why don't we copy that with all small farmers and all small businesses? If you're not going to sell outside the state, why are you being hamstrung like that? It makes no sense whatsoever. But more than that, how about make it easy to hire people? We are one of the only states that has an insurance board that literally hunts businesses. We should get rid of that without a doubt. We don't require it. On top of that, why do we have a situation to where when it comes to workers' comp, you have to pay for work-related and non-work-related injuries? That seems insane. Non-work-related is what you have personal insurance for. Regular work-related, of course, you should pay for. That will cut it in half right there. And the scaffolding law. Make our taxation simple so you don't have to have an accountant every time you open up a business before you get fines and fees. All this can change to support the small businesses. But I'm not even done yet. Why aren't we also supporting all the newer industries? Why aren't we supporting blockchain and Bitcoin and the vaping industry and hemp and cannabis? Why aren't we supporting these industries, right? When we did it with the beer industry, all of a sudden breweries popped up all over the place. Craft brews and things of that sort, making local communities more vibrant. Why can't we deal with all these other new industries and ideas, Uber and Airbnb, and enjoy them all? If we provide a better environment for small business, big business will come anyway because it'll be vibrant, and small businesses will hire, and they will grow to medium and big. That is how you stay resilient.
Larry Sharpe with the Libertarian Party running for governor here in New York State. Larry Sharpe, you mentioned marijuana a couple times in the interview. You talked about Cynthia Nixon's ideas for pushing for legalizing recreational marijuana.
Yep.
Governor Andrew Cuomo moved to the left when Cynthia Nixon was around. What do you think will happen with her being gone?
Nothing. He's going right back to his old ways. That was just the pander. He doesn't care. If he ever legalizes anything, it'll be the way he always does it, which is his cronies, big business who bribe him will get the licenses or however he uses it. No. Here's how you deal with cannabis and hemp. Cannabis and hemp should be regulated like onions. And yes, I said onions, and I mean onions. With one minor exception, you have to be 18 years or older to purchase. Without that, that's it. Why? I want to support our small farmers. Our small farmers are being crushed in New York State, just destroyed. But could you imagine if they could all of a sudden, have a 7 or 10 or 15 acre farm, and now you could specialize in hemp or specialize in cannabis. All of a sudden now, if you treat those small farmers not like small businesses, allowing them to have insurance rates like businesses, workers' comp like businesses, get loans like businesses, now all of a sudden they can put these manufacturing sites on their actual farms to make specialized products, craft hempcrete, hemp plastic, hemp rope, hemp cloth, cannabis products for recreation, cannabis products for sleep, for health, whatever the case may be. This will help us tremendously. Will save our farmers.
Larry Sharpe,
there are actually people here in New York State who are suffering from chronic pain. And right now their answer is an opioid product, which will probably put them as an addict, hurt them tremendously, or mess them up financially, or mess up their brain. But instead, how about a cannabis product? How about they get an edible or whatever the case may be? Or you know what, you're poor? Great. I said onions. Grow your medicine in your backyard. I'm not about being righteous. I'm about happy New Yorkers. If we have happy New Yorkers, more of them will stay. More of their family members will come back. We'll have a vibrant and resilient New York State. Legalizing cannabis and hemp, like onions, will ensure the little guy wins and the big guy does not. If we tax it, if we regulate it like crazy, or have licenses, I will guarantee you this. Big business cronies will win, small farmers die. Big pharma wins, big tobacco wins, the small farmers go under.
What about the argument that marijuana use leads to crime? What do you say to that?
No, I get that. Now, here's the reality. Crime is still crime. If you rob someone to get your drug, go to jail for robbing someone. If you hurt someone to get your drug, go to jail for hurting someone. Still crime. If you have more crime, then there'll be more people being punished. I get that. But the reality of it is legalizing marijuana does not in any way, shape, or form increase crime. How do I know that? The data is in Portugal, in Norway, in Switzerland, in California, in Colorado, in Washington. The data is in. It does not happen. It's not true. And if you don't tax the hell out of it, there's no real black market, which makes even less crime. So it just lowers. The reason why you had so many people initially with crime is there were no banking institutions when they started to legalize marijuana. So you had to work in cash. Where you're traveling with cash all around. You're asking to be robbed. You've got $10, $20, $30, $40,000 in cash going around all the place. People are going to rob you. But now when you create local credit unions, local banking institutions that are not federal, all of a sudden now you can do that, and we'll do that. We'll be prepared for that. We've learned the lessons from all the other people who've made these errors.
We've been talking with Larry Sharpe, Libertarian candidate for governor. Down to the last couple of minutes. Anything I did not bring up that you wanted to talk about, Larry?
Look, I'm the only candidate right now who is actually talking about problems that are affecting you, the average New Yorker. I'm not just talking about how evil Cuomo is or how evil Trump is. I'm actually telling you that I have answers to fix our problems, ways to raise money without taxation, ways to actually get people to be happier in New York, ways to actually build our infrastructure up, ways to build our economy up, ways to fix our education. I'm giving you actual answers. And if I'm wrong and you think I'm incorrect, great, let's move forward together and fix them anyway. But I actually have answers. One they didn't even bring up. You want to raise money? Why aren't we using our infrastructure to raise money? Why aren't we leasing naming rights to our bridges? Right? We have a Mario Cuomo bridge. Blech. Why don't we instead have a Verizon bridge, a Sprint bridge, a 3M bridge? I don't care what bridge. A bridge to where they can pay us money to have their name on it, and a bridge that gets mentioned hundreds of times throughout the day during rush hour. 100,000 cars or more cross it every single day. A 16 million person metro area. They can even take care of maintenance, which means safer bridges. We have bridges and tunnels collapsing throughout New York State all the time. How about if all of a sudden instead, if the tunnel or bridge is bad and they don't want to fix it, they lose the contract, which means they'll have to fix it. We'll have safer bridges and no taxpayer dollars. We won't have to pay for maintenance. We'll reduce spending. And guess what? No tolls. Safer bridges. No tolls. More money. This is what I'm talking about. We can raise money a different way. I am not talking about the same old thing. I'm not a politician. I'm a business guy. I'm the anti-establishment. These guys right now running in the red and blue team, they can't drain the swamp because they live in the swamp. They can't change the establishment. They are the establishment. Asking them for real change is asking them to burn their own house down. That is not going to happen. I'm the only guy running who's an actual independent. I'm the only guy running who doesn't have a career to save, who doesn't have a career to protect, who doesn't have anyone to pay back. I've raised over $300,000, and my average donation is about $80. I don't have people I have to pay back. There's no cronies here. You want someone who cares, who will try to take care of New Yorkers, who wants people to actually stay in the state? You're listening to him right now. The reason why I'm running is because I don't want to leave New York. I want to fix it. That's LarrySharpe.com. That's Sharpe with an E.
Larry Sharpe, always great having you on. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
AM 1480 WLEA Hornell.